All right, let's begin with the big story this evening that ET Now reported about 3 weeks ago that there was a bidding war and an interest going on for Just Dial. The Tata Group were one of the contenders, as was the Reliance Group, and Reliance has won out. So we told you back in June, actually on the 7th of June, that Just Dial was looking for investors. Today that has been confirmed. Just Dial board has approved the issue of preferential shares to Reliance Retail, which will acquire about 67% of the company. Mr. Money, the founder of the company, will continue to run it, but will be a junior partner of sorts. Now, what exactly will Reliance Retail do with Just Dial is the question. Remember, the Reliance Group has been on a shopping spree for digital properties, for internet companies, and in its larger scheme of things, where exactly does Just Dial fit in? To speak on this, I'm joined now by Deven Choksey and Rehan Khan. Welcome to both of you. Mr. Choksey, let me begin by getting your take. As an avid Reliance watcher, are you surprised, and do you think Just Dial is a good addition?
Hi, good evening. Well, I think the important aspect about the business model of Reliance Retail, when you understand, on one side, on the ground, they have got more than 12,500 stores across different verticals. And they are creating the complete omni-channel by way of integrating with the digital stores. And in turn, I think they are basically integrating the Kirana store as the first place. Now, when you look at the program that they are basically conducting, in different verticals, they would like to basically, I think, start their retail ventures. And this could include starting from edutech, starting from agri-tech, starting from health tech. Similarly, I think media tech, games, and even fintech. Now, if each one of these verticals, when you want to start your activity, obviously, I think you would like to see how you would like to connect yourself with different suppliers to this particular thing. So B2B connect is important. In such situation where companies like Just Dial would come and play a major role. Just Dial as a company is basically operating out of 250 plus cities. Their main focus remains in tier 2 and beyond kind of cities. And at the same time, I think they have got about 3 crore merchants who are basically, I think, onto their platform. And they have about 12 crore users who are basically using their platform every quarter. Now, when you see these numbers, I think this makes perfect sense for a company like Reliance. For an acquisition close to somewhere around 4,000 crores that they have basically they're paying, which is hardly any money if one wants to look at. I think this kind of numbers that you have on one side, 3 crore kind of a merchants available who could basically be onboarded onto the digital platform of Reliance Retail. And in such situation, I think what you require to do is an enterprise version of the platform that you need to offer, which they already have, and a payment that need to offer, which also they have. So when you have the payment and the platform, particularly enterprise platform, connected with this particular merchants, to me, I think it makes a perfect sense. Anyone who would possibly, I think, want to acquire 3 crore such kind of merchants, they will have to put huge amount of feet on street and probably, I think, spend good amount of money. Here, I think this cost of acquisition itself is suggesting that somebody who worked for 25 years, I think the entire base is available to a company like Reliance Retail, who could possibly, I think, integrate their entire model into it and I think create a complete omni-channel presence across those 250 plus cities in which this company is operating. So I think a good deal, I would say. And Just Dial probably was struggling also, I think, to expand their business. I think this is one particular opportunity which came their way. Maybe Reliance could possibly drive this particular platform, I think, far more bigger and better going forward.
You know, Rehan Khan, your take, of course, on the deal that has been reported for some time now, and really the journey of Just Dial as well. Back, I think, in the mid-90s, it was extremely useful as a phone directory. Over time, with all of your specialty apps and aggregating services coming together, Just Dial has lost its sheen and tried to pivot one way or the other to find some relevance. Do you think it will really add value to Reliance, or is it basically a good deal to acquire that amount of data that Just Dial has got over the last 25 years?
I Well, it's hard to say what exactly the motivation is for acquiring Just Dial, whether it is integrating data or just operating it as a standalone business. Don't forget that Reliance has been acquiring a string of standalone businesses, Haptic, Imbibe, quite a few others. I think it's got over a dozen businesses which are fairly standalone in nature. Will it integrate it? Is it part of a larger story? It's hard to say. Is it interesting as a standalone business? It could be. Maybe it's a way, for them just to provide something on their, on their cell phones to users, and maybe by including that app on their cell phones, they increase the usage of the business as a standalone business. But I think the larger and the bigger story here, if you ask me, and together with the Zomato IPO and the recent acquisition of Big Basket by the Tatas, I think the larger story here is that these large conglomerates now have started acquiring and continuously acquiring companies, right? And that has now opened up another exit avenue for startups in India. And that is something which is very exciting. So on the one side, you have the IPO market, which has opened up. On the other side, these large conglomerates, for various reasons, have started acquiring, these other tech companies. So very, very interesting and exciting times as a result of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely great exit opportunity as well. Will we also see consolidation? Deven, Choksey, do you want to come in on this? Will we see consolidation in this fairly cluttered space of internet companies? And then you have, I would say, the big three coming into the game. So the Tata Group, Reliance, and Amazon, of course, they're waiting in the wings for a larger play. Do you see now, a huge fight over good contenders out there?
So in all, I think there would be 5 players as I see it. One, of course, I think which all of us, I think probably are not looking at is Government of India's GEM platform, which is basically one of the largest platform, though I think it is more on a B2B side as far as I think the current operations are concerned and serving only to government and government related enterprises. Then followed by that would be the Amazon, Flipkart, Reliance, and now Tata's. So in all, I think these 5 people are going to drive this entire activity going forward. That obviously becomes very clear as far as internet space is concerned. Now, what is more important here is when you talk about consolidation, in my viewpoint, I think the entire world is moving in the direction of collaborations and cooperations. What I mean to say is that I think those who have got the customer acquisition points, they would be the preferred choice of a partner for many of these kind of companies. Because ultimately, you spend huge amount of money in the initial years to acquire customers, be it a company like Zomato, which keeps on spending money, or be it a company like Paytm, which keeps on spending money and never earn profit. I think those kind of players, I think, would be the ones who would be ultimately the target companies for some of the established players who are having the supply chain mechanism at the back end. So that is where I see the case of, I think, some of the new generation of companies would ultimately hook the customer for them and give it to them at some point of time, which will get integrated, whether it is in a fintech platform, whether it is in investech platform, whether it is in the media tech platform, or for that matter, even in the retail platform. I would think that yes, you would see a slew of companies who will get integrated into some of the larger players going forward. Whether you call it consolidation, I don't know, but I think it would be a growth-oriented strategy.
Yeah. Deven bhai, since we're talking about companies which have spent a lot of money on acquiring customers and never made any profits, but are, completely in the news right now, let's get your views on Paytm as well. The Paytm IPO is round the corner. Are you excited and keenly watching out for this one as much as Zomato?
They're losing money left, right, and center. And I don't know, I think, how exactly I think this particular proposition will pay out. Because I think they started with wallet business. They went into mall, didn't work. They went into small bank. I don't think that I think it is working as big. They are moving into, I think, distribution of financial products. So they are trying each and every vertical in which I think they can acquire the customer and try and make the entity big. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think when you are a manufacturer of the product and you get integrated with such kind of fintech company, then it makes a complete business model. Just by acquiring the customer and not making the profit is not going to be a complete model. So this is going to be an interesting proposition going forward. How big I think they would continue to be, how exactly I think they will try and bring down the losses, something which I don't have any clarity at this point of time. But I would definitely think that the manufacturers in the fintech space, that means I think the companies who are in the lending business, companies who are in providing the investment-based solution, companies who are in the business of banking solutions, I think they would be the ones I think who may look at this company who probably have acquired the customer and going for integrate with them. In what form and shape it can come up, I don't know whether it is acquisition, whether it is collaboration, whether it is cooperation. I think something which one will have to wait and see. But I think this is what is looking very clear as far as how the Paytm kind of a company would ultimately work with some of the larger players.
Yeah, so, Rehan, your view on this concept of a cooperative sort of system, you can call it consolidation, but eventually a grouping of companies that have enough of customers who have a clear enough business proposition, grouping under the umbrellas of these large groups that want to make their presence felt.
Yeah, we call it LTV enhancement in the industry. So not just large groups, right? It's also like, look at PharmEasy. They went and they acquired ThyroCare. And the reason they acquired ThyroCare was because they had the customers and they were selling them medicines. But the customers, they found an opportunity to provide them with diagnostics. So, that's LTV or lifetime value enhancement. So yeah, all groups are doing that now. The difference between the online groups is they already have the customers, like a PharmEasy, and they are adding, other companies to do it. Byju's went and acquired White Hat Junior, and then they went and acquired Akash, right, which is an old company. All of it was to enhance the amount of products that they can sell. Okay, I've taken you through school. Then I sell you, computer programming classes. Then I sell you, test prep for you to get into colleges. So it's LTV, lifetime value enhancement. For the old school groups, right, the Reliance, the Tatas, and all these guys, they don't have an online base. Reliance at the end of the day with Jio is a phone provider. They don't actually have an online base with registered email IDs and people buying a lot of online products. And the same with the Tatas and so many other of these older groups. So they are actually new to the game and they're making a start somewhere. Tata's went and bought Big Basket. Big Basket is the high usage product. So that's giving them the initial set of customers. And then they've been buying other satellite products around it. So okay, so I get customers on Big Basket. Now I have my initial user base. I start cross-marketing them other products. So everybody's kind of looking at this, and that's the sort of logical way of doing. The online guys already in the game. The old boys are trying to get into the game. So it's very interesting, right? I don't know if you call it consolidation or if you call it LTV enhancement or as far as the old boys are concerned, it's just called getting into the game. But this is happening. But to your question, will India end up with 3 large groups owning all the internet companies? I highly doubt it. There are hundreds of internet companies popping up all the time. This year already, we've had some 15, 16 unicorns. Will be probably 30 unicorns by the end of the year. So, I don't think anybody will dominate.
Right.
It will be very, very spread out. Everybody's trying to get into the game.
Well, the more the merrier. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The more the merrier. Good for consumers and good for the ecosystem as well. Thank you so much, Deven Choksey and Rehan, for joining us in the first chat.